So welcome to everyone watching this video. In today's video, we are going to be creating a nice task management app in Python tkinter. For that, I have opened here the Spider IDE inside of which we are going to type our code. So let's just start typing. From tkinter, import star. So this is basically for importing everything from the tkinter library, all the functions, all the objects. Now, R will be equal to tk. So this is for making a new window whose variable name is R. So tk is basically a function used to create a window. R dot main loop. This is to ensure that our window is displayed. If we do not add this, our window would be displayed and immediately closed after it. Now, how will our app look like? Our app will look somewhat like the Spider IDE with a taskbar with a bunch of buttons inside of it. What will be the buttons? There would only be two buttons. One would be to add a task and the other to delete a task. So first we need to create a taskbar. So taskbar will be equal to a frame. So what is a frame? A frame is a function to make a frame inside of your window, and this takes an argument R. So basically, where do you want to store this frame? We want to put this frame inside of the window. And what is the name of the window? R. Now, taskbar dot pack. So we have made this line to basically add the taskbar to our window finally. Dot pack is a function to place this taskbar onto our window. Now, inside of this taskbar, we need to add these two buttons, right? So add underscore task underscore button will be equal to obviously a button. So for making a button, we use this function, button function inside of, actually this time we need to place this inside of the taskbar. So taskbar and its text. So what will be the text of the button? It would be add task, something like this, okay? And add task button dot. This time we are not going to use pack because we want to display our buttons side by side as you can see in the Spider IDE. For that we are going to use grid. So grid takes two arguments. The first one is the column. So column will be equal to, so inside of which column do you want to place? We want to place this inside of the 0th column. Counting in programming languages start from 0. 0 is the first index, okay? Row will be equal to 0. We want this to be like, as you can see this button right here, new file button. This would be the position of our button as well, okay? Then we need to add another button, which is delete task button. And we are going to name this delete task button, and this is going to be in the column 1 this time. So basically this would be positioned right here where our open file button is there. Then let's just change this text to delete task. We have completed the very basic layout of our window. We also need to add something that I am going to tell you afterwards. Here you can see our nice looking window with two buttons aligned side to side, add task and delete task. Below this, we want to show a list box where we would list the tasks. For this, we are going to add a new list box. To add a new list box, we would do LP will be equal to list box, and this list box takes the argument. We want to place this inside of the R window, and we are going to do lb.pack. This can take two more arguments, which is the width. What width do you want to give it? So I would like to give it a width of, for example, 20. And what height do you want to give it? For, again, 20. It would work fine. Now, once we run this, you can see our nice looking window is getting displayed. Let's just make the width a bit more so that the window looks uniform. Maybe 50 is fine and height 20 is fine. Now let's just check. Now you can see our nice looking window with a list box at the bottom. The list box is not visible because currently we have not added any task. To add a task, we would click on add task. A new window would be shown where you would type the name of the task you want to enter, and you would click on OK button. Once you click on the OK button, the task would be registered inside of the list box. For doing this, whenever we click on the add task button, we need to define a function. So command will be equal to add underscore task. Okay, so this function would be called whenever the add task button is clicked. Where is this function? We need to define it. So define this function, which is add underscore task, and inside of this function, we need to create a new window. To create a new window, as I had explained earlier, we are going to do, for example, window will be equal to tk. Tk function is used to create a new window. And to keep the window open, we use window dot main loop, right? Main loop. Yes. Inside of this, we need to add an entry box. To add an entry box, we would do entry is equal to entry, and basically this is the function to add an entry box. This takes one argument, that is where you want to place this. So I want to place this inside of the window, and entry dot pack to place this inside of our window. We also need to add two buttons. One is OK, one is cancel. To add these, we would type in here OK underscore button will be equal to a button inside of a window, and its text will be equal to obviously OK, actually capital O this time. And one more cancel button should be there. So for that, we would do uh, cancel underscore button will be equal to the same thing, and but this time it would be cancel, right? The text will be cancel. So for example, if the person thinks no, I don't want to add the task, they can click on this cancel button. We just need to pack these. So OK underscore button dot pack, and again for the same cancel underscore button cancel. Okay, some spelling mistake is there. Cancel underscore button dot pack, the same way we did for other widgets. Let's just check how the window looks like. I would click on add task and you can see our nice looking window has been displayed, where the person would type the name of the task. So for example, do homework, and click on OK to actually add the task. To add a task, the person would click on the OK button. So whenever the OK button is clicked, we need to define a new command. Command will be equal to, for example, uh, okay, this time, okay. Okay. Then define okay. This is basically a nested function. And inside of this, what we would do is we need to add an item inside of the add task. No, inside of the LB, right? LB is the list box. We need to add that task to the list box. For that, we first need to get the input from the user. How we would get that? This entry you can see right here, right? Entry dot get. So this is a function to actually get what the person has typed inside of the text box. Now, we would store it inside of a variable a, entry dot get, and we would type global lb to access the list box inside of our scope of this function. Okay, now what we need to do is lb dot, to add something inside of a list box, we use a function dot insert, and we want to insert it at the end. So firstly, we would type at what index do you want to place it. I want to place it inside of the end. So for example, the list has 5 items. It would be stored as the sixth item, obviously. And after this, we need to type like exactly what we need to insert inside of the list box. We want to insert A. Okay, or actually to make our program even more better, we can remove this A and directly type in here entry dot get. Now, after the person has entered their task, we want to close the window, right? Else the person can keep on clicking on the OK button, or might get confused or what happened or something like that. So we need to close the window. Let me just give you a demo quickly. So add task, then we would do homework, something like this, and we would click on OK. So now you can see the task has been added, but this window has not closed, which does not look nice. And we need to close the window manually. So let's just automatically close the window. For that, we need to again access the global, actually, no, not this time. We can directly access this window inside of this function, right? So window dot destroy. This is a function, destroy. Yeah, this is a function to close the name of the window. Okay. So for example, add task, and we would add a task, for example, do homework, and click on OK. Now you can see this window also got closed and our task also got added. Very good. Our code is working perfectly fine. Now we have coded the part of adding, like for example, inserting a record inside of the list box. Now we need to program the cancel button. So for example, if the person opens the entry box and thinks, oh no, I don't want to enter a task, they can click on the cancel. So the command would be equal to basically destroy the window, right? So test something like this. Actually, remove the brackets. And remember, inside of the command attribute, whenever you pass a function, we do not pass brackets. Many people do this mistake. Never do this. Just write test. Now, we need to define test. This would be basically again a function. And whenever this is called, we just need to do window.destroy. That's it. And we have done this. Run this, add task, then we would add a task and click on cancel because we didn't want it to add a task actually, and it worked perfectly fine. Now, what happens if somebody has done the task and wants to delete it? So the person would click on the task, then click on the delete task button, but nothing is happening because obviously we need to code this part. Now, what happens when the person clicks on delete task? We need to add a new command. So command will be equal to del underscore task, something like this. Okay, delete task. Okay. Copy this, create a new function, define del task, and we need to delete the task, right? Firstly, we need to access the global LB, which is basically the list box. Then we need to get what is the current selection. Okay, so for example, I can click on that task as I showed you before, and once that task is selected, I will click on the delete button. So how will our program know what has the person selected with their cursor? To know what the person has selected with their cursor, we need to do something like lb dot cur selection. Cur means current and selection means selection, obviously. So this is a function to get the current selection. We need to remove the current selection. To do this, we would pass this inside of lb dot delete. Okay. So lb dot delete. What do we want to delete? We want to delete lb dot current selection, obviously. So let's just check how our code is working. Add task. I'm adding task, do homework. Okay. Then again add a task, do coding, something like this. Okay. So basically we have added these two tasks. Now, for example, if I'm done doing my homework, I would click on this like with my mouse and you can see this gray box which is highlighted. I will click on delete task to actually delete the task. Okay. And for example, if I've done with the coding as we have done right now, we can click on the delete task and our work is done. So thank you guys for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on some awesome stuff like this on a daily basis. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.